What's up, YouTube? So today on First Take, we have Will Kane on here with Stephen A. And they're discussing how the New England Patriots have a cakewalk going through the AFC East. So let's hear what they have to say about that.
It should be penciled, if not pinned, if not permanent markered into the Super Bowl for the foreseeable future. If you're laying money down, if you're making predictions, if you're making bets, you bet on the Patriots. It is 3 straight Super Bowls. It's 4 in 5 years. It's 9 in 17 starting seasons for Tom Brady. This earns you the benefit of the doubt. Now, everybody in our business, actually everybody in every business, loves potential, the next best thing, hype, upside. That's what we say when it comes to every NBA or NFL draft. And so we're going to look for what comes after the Patriots, and we make the mistake that everybody consistently makes. That's ignoring what is for what could be. What is and has been for going on well over a decade now is that the New England Patriots, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick own the AFC. And it will be that.
Look, Mr. Will Kane, it's not Tom Brady and Bill Belichick's fault that they own the AFC. It's not their fault. Everybody else needs to step up their game. I mean, it's not their fault that the AFC East is weak with Miami, Buffalo, and the New York Jets. Whose fault is that? And then you want to go to the AFC North with Baltimore and Pittsburgh. Baltimore had the better record this year, but with Pittsburgh, Ben Roethlisberger, he's nothing to ever mess with. I can always count on Ben Roethlisberger to put in work. I definitely fear Roethlisberger in the AFC North. And then you want to go over to the AFC West with Kansas City leading it, and then the Chargers right behind them. New England just beat Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. So whose fault is that? Everybody else needs to step up their game. It's not Tom Brady's fault.
That way. You should have learned. I should have learned. We all should have learned. They play the us against the world card, but you know what? They're right. Last year it was their defense. This year it's their injuries. This year it's their offense can't keep up. Every time we doubt them, they are back in. And I'm not going to start doubting them again, not in this Super Bowl and not next year until further notice.
Well,
the Patriots.
Before I go into my little soliloquy, how long have you felt this way about Tom Brady and Bill Belichick?
I have felt this way for a while now. I want to say something.
When you say a while, what does that mean?
Years.
Okay.
Okay? Last year, I swear, we all played this game. The defense isn't good enough. We wrote them off. And I said I want to be the last one out of the Patriots party. I'll hit the lights. I did doubt them against the Chargers.
Okay.
I did doubt them this year against the Chargers. And
Everybody knows the Chargers are good to drop the ball. Everybody knows the Chargers are good to when it's time to win the big game, when it's time to step it up, the Chargers are always good to fail. I mean, you could be in the fourth quarter, the Chargers could be up, and what happens? Phillip Rivers throws a pick. What happens in the fourth quarter? You could be up, somebody drops the ball. What happens if be up in the fourth quarter? Phillip Rivers runs out the clock, or there's something stupid. Like I said, he's Phillip Givers because he loves giving the ball away. He loves throwing picks.
I learned my lesson.
Well, the reason why I was asking that question is because from 2004 to 2014, there was no Super Bowl championship, and Bill Belichick and Tom Brady were there. All right, and this is when they were younger, healthier, obviously some would say sharper, whatever the case may be. The bottom line is this: they can be beat. Obviously, they're the favorites. You look at what they've accomplished. I'm not going to dismiss that, but what I will tell you is that if the Kansas City Chiefs had gotten Rex Ryan as their defensive coordinator instead of Steve Spagnuolo, I would have stood here this morning and told you that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be the favorite to come out of the AFC next year. That's how definitive I would have been about it, because that's how strong I believe in their offense, and I think if they modify things somewhat defensively, they beat the New England Patriots. And I'm of the mindset, I can understand the notion till further notice, but do I think that the New England Patriots are going to go to a 4th straight Super Bowl next year? No, I do not. I will also say this.
How could you count them out, though? I mean, it's just 3 in a row. 3 Super Bowls in a row for the New England Patriots. I mean, how could you count them out? Because I bet you Stephen A. probably said it last year. Oh, there's no way they're going to go to, 2 in a row. There's no way. What about the year before that? Well, I don't know. Tom Brady's getting older. He's almost 40. I mean, how can you count them out? 4 Super Bowls in a row. That's just like what the Buffalo Bills did in the early 90s. When they went to 4 Super Bowls in a row and got beat up.
When we talk about the New England Patriots, as much credit as they deserve, and we can't take away anything from them, let's understand that what they really deserve credit for is the 2 playoff games that they get to play. Because by playing in the AFC East, it's a foregone conclusion you're going to win that division. It's a foregone conclusion that because 6 of your games each year are going to be against opponents in the AFC East, that you're going to have a top 2 seed come playoff time, which means that you'll have at least 1 game at Foxborough, which means that basically in a worst case scenario, you got to go on the road and win, which is what they just did against Kansas City. We can't take away anything from the New England Patriots in that regard, but what I will tell you is this. Adam Gase, Sean McDermott, please. Now we've got Brian Flores, a guy that's the defense coordinator for New England, who's about to be the head coach of Miami. It'll be interesting to see what happens next year with that. New England will be in the picture, there's no doubt. But I think that when we look at the road that other teams have to travel, we have to take into account the fact that the road that the New England Patriots have to travel is not nearly as arduous because of competition in the AFC
There's no doubt.
East.
There's no doubt.
Yeah, there is no doubt about that. But once again, that's nobody's fault. That's not Tom Brady's fault. That's not Bill Belichick's fault. Now, let me change the subject a little bit. Let's go to LeBron. Look at LeBron. How many years did LeBron run the Eastern Conference? How many years did he run the Eastern Conference? Because there was nobody there. He had no competition. He used to run the table. You know he's going to get to the finals every single year because the East is weak. But now he's in the West. Now he's in the West, and it's a different story. So I don't hate on LeBron because the East was so easy. It was a cakewalk for him. Just like don't hate on New England. It's not anybody's fault. It's not Tom Brady's fault or Bill Belichick's fault that the East is weak.
But all you're doing is explaining the why, while I tell you what the is.
Well,
you're telling me the AFC East has been weak and it set the Patriots up to be in a good position come playoff time. And I would say you're absolutely right. And thus another reason why we should not begin to doubt the Patriots yet another year. Going into the Super Bowl, going into the AFC in 2019, why would you start your doubts then? See, this is my point.
Let me answer that question.
Go ahead.
Brady does turn 42 in
Okay,
August.
no, I mean-
I'm just saying, you look at
Okay, so now Stephen A. Smith is trying to jump on the Max Kellerman bandwagon with the, Tom Brady, he's in his 40s now. He's 40 plus, so next year he'll be 42, and that's got to be the point in time when he falls off. Has he shown any signs of falling off? Has he shown anything? I mean, he's working on his 3rd Super Bowl. Has he shown any signs of slowing down? No, he hasn't.
we sort of looked at Gronk fading. We looked at Edelman being on a roller coaster ride this year. Josh Gordon wasn't there. Again, we see that they found a way to overcome, and they deserve all the credit in the world for it. The flip side to it is that you looked at Kansas City. They could have won that game. You looked at the Chargers. They were incredibly transparent with their defense, and it was very, very disappointing to see them perform the way that they did based on what we saw during the regular season. All I'm saying to you is that I can make a case that there are other teams that could give them a run. There's somebody that can knock them off in the AFC next year based on what we've seen this year.
What I'm saying is, why do you keep touching the stove? You've been burned over and over. Learn your lesson. The lesson is, look what the Patriots dynasty has survived. Look what you've laid out for us over the past 7 minutes. Mm-hmm. And look what that resembles over the past several years. Number one, they've survived the rise of several teams that we thought would be next. The Colts and Andrew Luck when they were young. The Jaguars when they were dominating everybody on defense.
Never thought either of those teams would beat the Patriots.
Maybe you personally did not think these particular teams would take down the dynasty, but we have looked for the next best thing, and the current one is the Chiefs, and I think the Chiefs are great. But I'm telling you, the Patriots have earned the benefit of the doubt that what will be the future has been what has been in the past. Mm-hmm. They have dominated. And on the Brady front, on the age front, that's another one, man. Don't touch the stove. The guy that sits in this chair on a normal basis keeps playing that game.
No, but you know what I think also? One point on that, and I'm curious. Is it fair to say that times are just changing? And I know Max brings up the rules that quarterbacks are so protected in terms of longevity.
Sometimes I just wish Molly would shut up. Let the men talk, all right? Let the men talk. You're a moderator, so you do a little moderating, but we don't want to hear your opinion. Shut it up, Molly.
But just diet, training, life expectancy is longer. That football players are just going to play longer than they did in the past.
I got a better answer for you, Patrick Mahomes. When you see a young brother like that coming,
yeah,
okay, That's what
No
you
doubt.
pay attention to more so than anything else. Like, for example, we're not sitting here calling the New England Patriots the reigning defending Super Bowl champions. We saw them get knocked off in the Super Bowl by the Philadelphia
Here's
Eagles.
the thing.
There is an ingredients to take them out. And then you've got a guy like Patrick Mahomes who's coming. And we know that Kansas City's defense pretty much lost that game.
But Stephen A., Patrick Mahomes doesn't have Bill Belichick. Is Patrick Mahomes going to take pay cuts so they can have the pieces around them? All those things they haven't faced
Well,
yet.
I think that's a long-term question, but but that's not a question we have to concern ourselves with for next season.
No,
and I'm
'cause he's
talking
still
about,
on a
I'm
rookie
thinking
deal.
New England will get knocked off next season. We got a guy in Patrick Mahomes that scored 31 points in the second half, that scored 24 points in the fourth quarter.
You know what, Stephen A., it doesn't matter. You can talk all you want about next year and who is going to do what. That's fine. But at this point, New England's back at the Super Bowl again. All right, Mahomes, he did everything. He did a great job. He had 3 touchdowns in the AFC Championship game with no picks. But did he win, though? But did he win? Because that's all that counts. That's all that counts. He's where? At home right now.
The Kansas City defense can stop them. We're having a different conversation.
This team, this franchise, has survived the next best thing in the AFC several times. They have survived the fads of offensive and defensive changes.
I agree.
They've survived the doubts about Tom Brady's age.